Coming up tonight, new information regarding the investigation into Grand Bahama over alleged electricity theft. Is it a legitimate investigation or a deliberate plan to attack a noted Bahamian family? Are police compromising their investigations by the players involved? And could this uncovered issue result in a breakout of Grand Bahama residents revolting over a high energy cost? Tonight, a Beyond the Headlines investigation into the mushrooming case of the energy theft. Who are the players, silent and speaking? And is there more than meets the eye? We go into uncover it all tonight. Beyond the Headlines starts now. New information tonight on the alleged Grand Bahama electricity theft, and the details could uncover a bigger plot than stealing power. Good evening, everyone. I'm Clint Watson, and welcome to the show tonight. Since Eyewitness News broke the story of a prominent Grand Bahamian family and their businesses' reported involvement in what was reported as alleged theft of power to the police, we have been digging and investigating to uncover the full details of this story. We searched, and what we uncovered has been an eye-opener. But before we get even into the details of our investigation, let's put this all into context. For years, foreign-owned companies like the Grand Bahama Power Company have made millions of Bahamians despite how depressed the economy has been. In fact, while many Grand Bahamians find themselves upon the hardest economic times of their lives, this company continued to rake in the millions. It is no surprise that the cost of electricity continues to be high and a major challenge for businesses operating. The power company, because of the pressure from consumers, even went to the extreme to release tips to save electricity. While residents on Grand Bahama decided that after years of complaining, they were going to switch to survival mode. They decided to take action and do what they could to reduce their power bills. In comes an individual with an energy-saving device to help consumers lower their bills. The regulators approved it and licensed it, the operator, to sell the device, making it certainly legal. What is this device? How does it work? Well, let's take a look at this clip.
Okay, we have our demonstration kit here. This is our device, standard household motor, one you might find in your air conditioner, refrigerator, etc. Turn the motor on, drop this down to current. So you can see the amount of amperage that this motor is pulling right now, about 5.7 amps. Motors from the factory, when they are made by the manufacturers, are designed to have a certain amount of loss already built into them. What this device is going to do is take the power that's being wasted and sent out through the neutral line or the ground, or disperses in the form of heat. It's going to grab that excess power and feed it back to the motor 60 times a second. So what you're going to see is this one's going to stay exactly the same, because that motor still needs that 5.7 amps of current to run. But this one's going to be cut practically in half, which is what's coming from the power company here. The reason that is because, again, it's feeding that excess power. It's grabbing it. Instead of just wasting it, it's feeding it back to the motor. So I'm going to flip the switch on, and here we go. Now you'll notice again, 5.7 amps stays exactly the same, but now we're only drawing 2.8 amps of current to keep this motor running. There's your savings.
It's as simple as that. Now, there is evidence that there are devices out there that are legal and working, but power companies aren't talking about it for the obvious reasons. Here's a portion of a story that aired on a CBS station in the U.S. of how the device was tested in a residential home and how the results were quite telling. We'll share that story with you. Take a look.
With a toddler and another on the way, the Marks are a high-energy family, literally.
I have an electric lawnmower, so I've been kicking that on as well, which is also going to draw some power. And the dryer.
Potty training. The dryer is running every day.
The family agreed to let CBS 46 install a device near their breaker panel that promises to cut electric bills by up to 25%.
There we go.
Be interesting to see, if we can really reduce our power by not having to change our lifestyle too drastically.
The motor-based appliances in all of our homes pull in more kilowatts than we use. The leftover flows out, wasted. The PowerSafe 1200 stores the wasted power you've already paid for future use.
This is the first one I've ever seen, first one I've ever put in a residential home.
The U.S. Department of Energy endorses the technology, but not a single power company in the Southeast is willing to talk about the products.
The 729 kilowatt hours.
Several months later, the marks have results.
The real beta was testing it from year to current month, and that was a big difference.
Energy use is down, saving the family about $15 to $20 a month. The $300 investment paid back in about 18 months.
Now, while we believe that if there is any act of theft in accordance to the law, consequences should follow to ensure compliance, we also quite tonight questioning the process from the Bahama Power Company reportedly went about in conducting this case. When we first broke this story, police confirmed to us that persons were in custody. As police investigated reports from the Bahama Power Company that companies were reportedly stealing electricity. Police also confirmed that the companies included companies like KFC, Burger King, Polo Tropical. We days later learned that these aren't the only companies using energy-saving devices. However, an inside source of the power company confirmed to us that the Cooper businesses were certainly the first on the radar by the power company during a special audit. Now, since then, there's been speculation that perhaps the company went after the Cooper business first to send a strong message. Now, we've been told that scores of Grand Bahamians and companies use some form of energy-saving device to help reduce electricity. We're also told that we would be surprised how high up the ladder it goes. Now, if this is the case, no wonder why the power company is concerned that its profit line might be turning into a different direction as consumers get smart and start to save energy. Those millions in profits annually could begin to dwindle. I want to take a closer look tonight at what was done. It's strange that an electricity company, after learning of this alleged theft of power, would cause the police to make an arrest of suspects, in this case the Coopers, without first even placing a call to the Coopers to raise concern of the matter. Yes, you heard me, they never placed a call to them. Then moving to disconnect all of their businesses while they are operating and not have a conversation with the operators first. What was the haste? Why would police move to arrest prominent Bahamian persons without concrete evidence that they were involved in the alleged theft of power? But as if that's not enough, how did police confirm that theft actually occurred? No one on the police force in Grand Bahama, we can confirm this, is an expert in electricity theft. No one could explain how the device was or was not used, and no one could explain how the theft occurred at this point. Yet, people were arrested. Was it done based solely on the power company's word? Well, where is the Grand Bahama Port Authority in all of this? Weren't they the ones who licensed the operator to sell the devices? Why have they not said anything about it? In fact, does the power company have an expert on hand that can say how the theft occurred? And can a case be formed solely by an expert of the company complaining and not an independent source verifying? Well, Beyond the Headlines spoke to a senior source of the Royal Bahamas Police Force who confirmed to us today that they are satisfied they have identified what system was used in this case. We're told that police have now confirmed and identified that only a portion of electricity was going to the meter and the said establishments under review. They call it circumventing the flow to the meter. Police have also confirmed to Beyond the Headlines today that under 10 accounts have been identified by the power company for investigation to date. Not 200, as has been rumored previously. Police also confirmed to us that they never asked how these anomalies were brought to the attention of the power company. In fact, when officers went to the identified businesses, they took the Grand Bahama Company's electrician. That's right, the Grand Bahama Power Electrician Company. They took the electrician from their company and another electrician identified only as an independent person. Police say based on what they saw at various businesses, there were different methods used and none of the devices, in their opinion, had any electrical value or the said energy-saving system. This is why police want to talk to Michael Nemore. This is the man responsible for selling the devices, to find out what agreement he made with his customers. But tonight, our first concern with police investigations is, how do you know what the electrician from the complainant and the independent electrician is showing you is accurate in order to formalize an arrest and accusation of a company? How do you know if you're not an expert in electricity? Secondly, how do you know that the theft took place from the meter to the company? Because science will prove that electricity from the establishment to the meter that is reduced cannot be theft because it hasn't gone to the company as yet. Now, can you prove that the theft took place after electricity was actually used? And I'm asking tonight, does the police have the expertise to thoroughly investigate this? Experts should be brought in to investigate this matter. How then can you work with the power company to collect evidence if you aren't familiar with what you are collecting? You're allowing them to build a case and tell you what to collect. You're allowing the power company to declare war on a Bahamian family, Bahamian companies, because they have possibly become an expert user of energy and how the power company is no longer benefiting. In other words, they are proving how they can cut back on electricity costs. They're alleging this, and you're not able to verify whether what they're doing is a cost-saving measure versus whether it's an illegal activity. Consider this. Could it be that people on Grand Bahama got smarter and started doing things to reduce the cost of electricity? We understand residents changed out LED bulbs. Everywhere people have been changing out their bulbs to more energy efficient bulbs, implementing other energy efficient and saving measures, as most of these companies have all done already. You see, based on our investigation and conversations with people in Grand Bahama, what you see has been going on is a disruption of the system by a desperate people. People have become desperate to save. People in Grand Bahama are cutting off breakers when they leave home, changing bulbs to more efficient bulbs, and becoming more efficient in how they use energy because of how expensive it's become. Electricity on the island has become perhaps most residents' second largest monthly bill. So if they can reduce it, they certainly will in order to survive. Now, the Coopers maintain that they did their research. People who use it authenticated that the device actually works. The Coopers, if you know them, are very meticulous people and have been verifying this information before actually installing this device. They did their checks, their references, to ensure whether or not what they were using would actually work. They were told by experts who use the equipment it actually worked. So, what happened in this case? Why had they been targeted, if they have been targeted, as many people suspect? And why is it that the electricity company is up in arms? When we come back, we dig deeper into this issue. We will talk on the phone to key players who understand what's happening in Grand Bahama. You'll be surprised what they have to say. Beyond the Headlines is back after this.
It's the 78th annual Bahamas Red Cross Fair. You heard it, folks. The National Fair of the Bahamas is underway. Bigger and better than ever. Every year, more than 10,000 attendees, 200 plus booths, food, games, live entertainment, and so much more. A family affair. It's the Bahamas Red Cross Fair, April 6th and 7th at Clifford Park. Starting time, 12 noon to midnight. For more information, see us on Facebook. Call us at 828-1973 or 817-7370. The Red Cross Fair.
Jurisdiction. It's not what you think, it's what you can prove. They can't prove my clients stole anything or obstructed anything. Now they out there speculating, like I told the good lady, the good reporter here, that's fake news because there was a negligent investigation. It was too premature. And they brought in some outsiders who perhaps looked at it and they just bought into it. That don't mean nothing. Not to this group. This is putting the cart before the horse. And that is the problem that we have today, is that everything was done prematurely. What if the device are legitimately used? How do you reconcile that with what has been done to their to their reputation and their character and their business? How do you pull back what's already out there in the universe on social media? I just think that we have to look at it more substantially as to what the power company motivation, why they felt that they had to solve the problem in a couple of minutes. Why couldn't they have just waited until the morning? Why couldn't they have brought in some experts? Why couldn't they have sat and allowed Mr. Cooper and Mr. Burroughs and Mr. Simonet to mitigate the circumstances? Before they even knew what was going on, it was on social media. They called. Don't y'all understand what's going on here? Don't y'all see how the same people that we pay to protect us are being manipulated and used by the power company? Why are we trying to distill this into something that is just a passing circumstances?
Now, tonight we challenge the power company to put a new meter in, run it, and see the actual consumption. You are billed by the meter. There must be criminal intent. How did police get knowledge of a crime? What evidence did the power company use to determine alleged theft? Is it just a decrease in the usage? Why couldn't that decrease be associated to measures taken to decrease the power bill? Think about it. Because people's bills are decreasing, does it automatically mean they're stealing power? We also can confirm tonight that the Cooper family was never contacted, as we said earlier, by the power company when this issue first came up. They learned about it through social media. And soon after, trucks came around to turn off the power at their various outlets. No communication. Now, joining me on the phone line live tonight is someone who's knowledgeable about a lot of these technical devices and has been an activist. C. Alan Johnson joins me live tonight from Grand Bahama. I want to talk to him a second regarding this. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good evening to you and good evening to the Bahamas.
Obviously you've been hearing about what has been transpiring with this particular story. Are you concerned the least by this whole ordeal? Does it at least appear to be unsettling to you?
It's absolutely unsettling because for the information that's in the public domain, it seems to have no basis for what is described as power theft, more as energy reduction. As far as I'm aware, the power company is maintaining, or at least in the public domain, that at many of these premises, there has been no disruption between the pole and the meter. As most people would know, the power company's responsibility for delivering power ends at the meter. Essentially, what you have is a connection from the pole to the building, to the top part of the meter, to the top part of the meter box. When you put the meter in, it measures the amount of electricity entering into that meter and into that building. As that power enters into the building, what you do with it is your responsibility. If the power company then went to these particular residences and these devices are inside of the buildings, one would have to understand how do you steal power from within a building when the power company responsibility ends at the delivery at the meter box. And so unless those devices were attached directly to the power company's part of the delivery system, or had tapped directly into the meter, physically tapping into the meter, then I don't see how you could claim that you had a disruption of the power delivery.
Another concern I had, and I wanted to get your take on it, is because obviously we're hearing from police and how this investigation has been progressing. They've been using the engineer or the electrician from the power company, which is the complainant, and a so-said independent person to go with them to investigate. Doesn't that appear to be compromising the investigation, that there is no independent person who's conducting their own investigation and presenting their facts to the police, but that you have the power company going along telling police this is what we have a problem with, and there's nobody there from the police to say whether what they're showing them is actually true or not.
Absolutely. I've tried to speak to a number of policemen to ask them, are they familiar with how power is generated and delivered, and what happens at the time it reaches the house? And none of them I've spoken to seems to have an understanding of the power delivery system. What amazes me is the fact that you have the power company seeking entrance into a home to determine what type of power-saving device you're using.
Yeah.
When the power company's responsibility ends at the meter box.
Correct.
You're gonna come and ask me, am I using an energy-efficient refrigerator? Am I using LED bulbs?
Exactly.
Am I turning off my water heater? And so the only thing the power responsibility is to verify that no compromise of their system has occurred outside of the building to the meter box, and to verify and authenticate that the meter box has not been tampered with. You have both a power company key, a lock that unique and numbered is serialized to know if a meter has been taken out of its place. You cannot replace the key. And on top of that meter, you have a factory seal on that meter that will actually be broken should you try to modify inside the box. All of these things could have been verified as to whether or not the delivery system up to the meter box had been compromised. Verifying that the meter box have not been compromised from the meter box to the pole, there would be no case to answer.
Wow. Thank you so much, C. Alan Johnson, for talking to us and shedding that light with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to go to a break, but as we go to a break, I want to bring to your attention some key things. And of course, going to the break, this is important. We did reach out to Grandmama Power Company, and here are the questions we specifically wanted them to answer. We said to them, how was the power company able to determine which accounts may have been stealing power? How many other accounts have been flagged? Is the company in the middle of an audit? Is it illegal to use devices that help to reduce electricity usage? And the Cooper claims they were never consulted about an issue. Why did the company not reach out to them in this case? Why were they not consulted? And the Grandmama Power Company responded by saying, the Grand Bahama Power Company is continuing to work with the relevant parties towards a resolution to the issues recently uncovered by the company's meter audit. The company will share more information in the coming days. That's it. We're back after this. Stay close.
There's a winner every 90 seconds in our all-new Lotto Roulette Live. Our one-ball game is an interactive casino-style game revamped with a twist for all your wants and needs. Watch and bet on your number, color, evens, odds, first half, last half, and so much more ways to win. From 00 to 36, wager on your favorite casino game, Roulette, now in a more interactive, fun way live. Visit islandluck.com or come into any of our locations for more information. Our balls have just gotten bigger at Island Luck. Winners live here.
Your car takes you everywhere. To drop your kids to school, to get to work, late night food runs, and family emergencies. You expect it to start every time, but what happens when it doesn't?
I refuse to get a tow truck. I refuse. I need a battery. Now.
Don't worry, AID has got you covered, with helpful staff that make sure you get the assistance you need, providing a wide selection of Napa auto parts, such as batteries and battery chargers, and a variety of auto accessories like fuel pumps, brake pads, oil filters, wipers, adhesives, auto paint, hubcaps, and much more. AID also has on staff mechanics and a diagnostic center, making sure you have everything you need to get your car back on the road as safe and quick as possible. AID, all you really need and more.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Joining me on the live line tonight is the Minister of State responsible for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson. And Minister, obviously, we've not heard up until this time from government regarding what is transpiring in Grand Bahama. And I'm sure this must be of concern to you, particularly as these businesses whose powers have been disconnected employ some 600 people, 600 people. And when you think about families and other persons who connected to them, that's about 3,000 persons impacted. Is government concerned about what's happening? And have you moved in to bring any kind of resolution with this matter?
So, Clint, I want to first of all thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak to this. The government really has been closely monitoring the situation with the Grand Bahama Power Company and really has been in communication with them since the story really first broke. We're very, very concerned. I mean, we're very concerned with the businesses who this is affecting, their employees, the customers. We're very concerned about the Grand Bahama Power Company and how this whole situation is affecting them. Now, what we have been doing is from the beginning encouraging the relevant parties to communicate and encouraging them to talk so that this matter can be amicably resolved. We are pleased that we saw talks start today. The parties have been in communication. We've been monitoring those communications. We think this is something that can be resolved, and we think that it can be resolved fairly. And I think that's the important point, is that we want to see a fair resolution for the businesses. We want to see a fair resolution for the power company as well. So we're going to continue to do what we can. We are not the regulators in the Freeport area for the power. We have a unique situation where the Grand Bahama Port Authority is really the regulators. But the government is the government, and we must be mindful of how this can affect the community, how this can affect the economy. And so we are encouraging those parties to talk. We think there can be a resolution, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Let me ask you, Minister, because you did speak about a very unique situation in Grand Bahama, where you do have the regulators, which is a port authority. And again, does this continue to usurp the authority of the central government? Because you have a regulator who's been very silent on this matter. You have a power company that's foreign owned, that again is to many people and residents preying on the backs of Bahamians. And we're talking. I heard you talk about the fact that you're encouraged that they're talking. But look, when they're talking after Bahamians have been arrested, after there's been no call or consultation in the initial stage of this matter. And then now they're talking and the government is pleased. Whatever happened to the strong arm that says to the Grand Bahama Power Company, we have a problem with the way you dealt with our business owners and operators by having them arrested and then talking after?
So let's start from where your original question. And again, we have to be mindful of the fact that there is an existing court matter that revolves around this very issue in terms of the regulation of the power company, the role of IRCA with respect to the power and with respect to utilities. So I think the government, through that court action, I think has made their position clear with respect to what they want to see. And obviously, I don't want to speak in detail to it because there's the existing court matter that is proceeding. But as we indicated, one of the things that the government has been doing from the beginning is encouraging, one, the power company to sit down with those businesses that are affected and to come to some amicable resolution, because all of the parties have been affected. The power company has been affected. Those businesses have been affected. And so, but we believe there can be a amicable resolution. That's, I think, the best way to have this resolved, and so that's what we're pushing for.
Thank you very much, Minister, for joining us and talking to us tonight. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Clint. Appreciate it.
of course, Minister responsible for Grand Bahama. Now, I want to read something for you because people are all wondering, is this legal? I want to pull up the document that we were able to obtain that speaks to the legality of what happens if there's wrong. And this is what the law says. We pulled it up, and it says in section 6A, it says, any person willfully, fraudulently, or by culpable negligence injures any main, pipe, wire, sewer, drain, water, tank, or reservoir, or any meter, apparatus, or fitting belonging to the Port Authority or a licensee, or alters the index of any meter used or required for a public utility service, or prevents it from registering correctly, or fraudulently abstracts or uses any water, gas, or electricity belonging to the Port Authority or licensee, it says, shall be guilty of an offense and on summary conviction, liable to a fine, get this, not exceeding $400, and in addition may be ordered to pay to the Port Authority or such licensee such sum as the court may deem fit by the way of compensation. So it says that if you are guilty of something of that, you pay a fine not exceeding $400. And then, of course, based on a court case, whatever fine the court deems is necessary. That's about all it gives you right there in that regard, in that way. Now, again, you can make your assumption from what the minister says, and you can tell whether or not the government has been active on the front line protecting its people. Here we are. We have a family of business owners and operators who were arrested, had their electricity turned off in the middle of giving service. No notification. No conversation with the power company, but arrested, called in, taken into custody. And now we have the Minister of State saying that we're happy they're talking and that we believe that there's going to be an amicable solution after the fact that you had prominent Bahamians arrested, treated this way by this electricity company, and you're stepping in saying that you're happy that they're talking. There is no expression of disgust for how a foreign company was able to move the Royal Bahamas Police Force to arrest prominent business people, employing people over something they cannot prove was a crime. I'm concerned. I'm concerned that the government's response tonight is, we're happy that they're talking and they will have an amicable agreement. After being arrested, after having your business humiliated, after having your power turned off, still turned off, you're using generation, and yet you're providing jobs, and the government says, we're happy you're now at the table talking. We're going to continue to follow this story. We continue to dig up facts and details. People are coming forward telling us things that we didn't know existed in Grand Bahama. But it's clear that what is happening in Grand Bahama is people are deciding that in order to survive, they have to find ways to cut costs. One of those ways is finding devices that can help them cut back on the cost of electricity. And it seems as if we have a Grand Bahama Power Company that's upset that people are getting smart and are reducing their energy usage and no longer spending the kind of money they used to spend on power and are now finding ways to save. Grand Bahama, we salute you. I wish I could get one of those devices. Tell me where I can get those devices. Let's put it in place for BPL as well. Way to go, Grand Bahamians. That's our show. Thanks so much for joining us. We understand Grand Bahamians will be standing up later this week, and there will be a protest against the power company. Do what you need to do to survive. This is our country. I'm Clint Watson. Thanks for joining us. Good night.